Congratulations! I love love. And that's what we're talking about today. We are going to be joined shortly by Jove Meyer. He is a boutique wedding planner and design firm for couples. He's powered by partnerships with women, people of color, and the LGBTQ community, LGBTQ plus community. Let's make that clear. He started doing events when he planned his best friend's wedding in 2008, and he loved every minute of it. He is. Let me just read you a little bit about his incredible everything before he even comes on. The Wedding Wizard listed him as the top 100 wedding pros. US Weekly named him a wedding guru. Brides have listed him as the top 500 event pros in the country. He's been featured in New York Times, Vogue, Martha Stewart, and he's the host of the popular podcast Weddings-ish with Jove, among so many other things. And he's a regular on Rachel Ray, so he's kind of my hero. And if I ever do get married one day, I wonder if I will ever get into my mom's wedding dress. I have it here from 1976. Check this thing out. Total hippie. I used to wear this on Halloween, and I wanted to be Last Dance with Mary Jane from the Tom Petty video. So I just want to welcome you and everybody to Quarantine But Cute. And Jove is joining us now live from New York City. Here we go. He's coming in. Hopefully that went through.
Hi.
Hi!
How's it going?
I wanted to do a very pretty setting for you today outside because it's the perfect day for a wedding in North Georgia.
Oh my gosh, well, it looks beautiful.
Right?
It's so gorgeous. The sun is shining.
I know! And we have so many matchmakers and love experts in the audience already.
I love a matchmaker.
Oh my gosh, we have a military matchmaker from London. I met her on Clubhouse. And Jove, I'm so excited to have you here.
I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, you're amazing. So I found out about you through our mutual friend, Marma, and I started checking out your events, and I was like, man, if I get married one day, Jove is doing it.
Oh, thank you. Give me a call. You got the matchmakers in the friend group
Yes.
and wedding planner. It's kind of lining up for you.
I know, right? We just need someone to fill that spot. So taking applications. So talk to me a little bit about this journey for you, because 2008, you started planning. What were you doing before that, and what just sparked it? It was your friend's wedding, right?
Yeah, so I've always worked in and around the events world. My first job was in a balloon shop, not sort of making balloon animals, which is always what people think. Like, I can make one balloon animal, but that was not my job. That was not what we did. It was essentially a balloon store making like arches for races, fundraisers, city events. So I worked in that company for 4 years, and I literally learned everything there was about sort of running a business, wholesale, retail, all of that. We did big events for Disney. We did events for Dave & Buster's, for Walmart, as well as like small at-home events. And I was like 14, 15, 16. What? Totally. And then I got my driver's license in the company car, which was like a minivan wrapped in balloons. It was so embarrassing. I was mortified. It was absolutely not cool. I was not cool in high school. You know what I mean? I was in theater. I worked at a balloon store. And, you know, I wasn't the cool kid at all. But I loved the creativity of events. And then I did a 3-year missionary after high school. And then my best friend was in that program, and ultimately she kind of got engaged shortly after. She moved to Connecticut with her fiance. I moved to New York to go to school, and ultimately she said, will you plan my wedding? And I was absolutely honored and thrilled. I was a little bit clueless. We were broke. She was waiting tables. I was waiting tables. Hey, Doug. And so, you know, we were both new, and we both didn't really know what was going on, but I knew that I loved her and I wanted to support her. And so that was kind of the start of the business informally. Hi, Peggy, you're so sweet.
I love these comments coming in. It says for people, when they watch this playback, they won't see the comments. So the person just said, Jove is one of a kind. Also, no one can rock heels like he can.
If you want a class, I'm happy to teach you. I love it.
I believe it.
And not a kitten heel, by the way. We cannot do a kitten heel.
I love it. You're so cute.
Marrying him. Hello. I love
I know
that.
there's so many fabulous people on this video right now on this show, and I'm so happy to have you here on Quarantine But Cute. And I've been dying to get you on because we talk a lot about a very serious things sometimes, which are really important, mental health and racial injustice, and we talk about a lot of stuff. But also, it's so important to talk about love because
Yes.
love is what is going to get us through everything. And
Yep.
so, what an incredible industry that you just dove into with your whole heart. So, let's talk a little bit about all of these incredible accomplishments and just I just want to know more. We want to know more.
I'm an open book. I'm happy to talk about anything and anything, and I would love to come to Denver. Oh my gosh, don't tempt me.
I
I
know.
don't know if
Look
you're
at you.
talking
You're
to
getting
you
all
or
these
me, but
invites.
we can go to Denver together. Yeah, I'm an open book. Whatever you want to talk about, love, relationships, work, the hustle, the heartache, like all of it. It's all there.
Totally. Well, okay. So you did the event for your best friend, and
Yeah.
obviously that tipped you off. And then did you just like immediately start your business? Because I know a lot of people who are pivoting because of COVID are starting businesses. And obviously the event world took a huge hit. I was an
Yeah.
event producer when I wasn't acting. And so that's been super tough. But for anybody who wants to build a business, obviously it can take years, lots
Here.
of patience.
Yeah.
And I know, you still have such an amazing positive attitude with everything that's happened through COVID. Could you just tell us what it was like to start your business and then kind of how it's evolved?
Absolutely. So I did my first wedding in 2008 in New York City. As I said, I was clueless to what I was doing. I
Yeah.
had no idea, but I was free because she's my best friend and we kind of had fun with it. That summer, I did 3 or 4 weddings for other friends that I knew growing up who all got married around the same time. At the time, concurrently, I was at Columbia on track to go to Harvard Law School. So my
Oh, wow.
trajectory, my plan was to be a lawyer, not a
From
wedding planner.
balloons to lawyering.
Yes, yes. So like that's the way that I was wanting to go. That's what I thought I
Right.
wanted to do for many reasons, which we could talk about for hours, but they're probably more. So then I dated a lawyer, and the lifestyle was lovely, and I went to some really nice restaurants. But he basically set me straight. He was like, "Listen, you will make no money in the kind of work you want to do. You'll be $1 million or more in debt, and it's not a happy life ahead of you." And I was like, "Oh, why am I doing all of this if the outcome is not going to be joyful?" And
Yeah.
so it really changed my heart and my mind. And so I kind of kept doing weddings for friends. And then ultimately, I made a really bad website myself, like a logo out of like pictures it was just like, I didn't know. I had no formal background or training. And I just
Yeah,
kind of
you're just
did
living it.
what I could. And then I advertised on Craigslist. So,
Oh,
the bar was low when you're
throwback.
advertising on Craigslist.
I will tell you, I got my first job ever right outside of college in radio because I went to school for radio and I became one of the first podcast DJs ever for a company based out of New York City. And I did it in my mom's house at
Amazing.
21 years old in Atlanta and had like millions of listeners. And I probably should have stuck with that. And now I'm sort of like circling back to it a little bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's Craigslist. I know it's sketchy now, but y'all, if you know, when Craigslist first started,
Yeah.
it was everything.
Totally. And so my first job on Craigslist, I booked for $400. And I was just thrilled that somebody wanted to pay me $400 to be their day of wedding planner, and that was kind of the scope that I was at. And so I basically did the Craigslist hustle. I was marrying friends.
Yeah.
And then it started to evolve, but I still didn't have the confidence to do it full time. So I took a job in a very small startup that paid me literally less money than I was making waiting tables. But I knew I wanted to pivot, into the event industry because you can be a lifelong server very easily in New York City. And
Yeah,
for
you
some
can.
people, it's great, but it's not what I wanted. And so I
Yeah.
knew after graduating, if I didn't pivot immediately, it would be easy to kind of stay in that world.
Yeah.
So I worked in the startup, and while I worked in the startup, I also ran the business. I hired someone to make a logo for me, to make a website for me. I made it more legit, and I kept booking on Craigslist. I
That's
kept
so wild.
increasing my prices on Craigslist, and then ultimately from there it kind of expanded. I made relationships with venues and with vendors and with
Yeah.
couples, and I started to kind of really be the go-to person in Brooklyn before Brooklyn weddings were what they are
A
now.
thing.
They were not a
Yeah.
thing back then.
Yeah.
And I was right place, right time. And ultimately, the business, lots of hard work, has kind
I'm
of
sure.
grown from that point.
That's so amazing. And also, I just want to point out that not only are you a massive advocate for marriage equality and inclusivity, I read that you co-taught your first LGBT wedding seminar with the Knot.
Yeah.
That's huge.
Yeah, it's really huge. So the Knot is probably the biggest, what most well-known organization out there in
Yeah.
the world of weddings. And we started our relationship way back in 2010 or 11. And I was doing the full-on Brooklyn hipster thing at that moment. I don't like that word, but
I know what you
my
mean.
my like style was like suitcases and mason jars and hand-stamped bags, that kind of like it had a moment. That moment is
Yes.
gone. It's long gone, but that's what was in then.
Oh
And
my God, I love
and some of the editors from the Knot came to an event with me and my suitcases and my mason jars,
I love you.
and they were like, "Who is this industry disruptor? Like, he's young, he has a beard, he has tattoos, he's gay, he's not this like 50-year-old woman who's been doing this 20 years. He's
That's
like,
like crusty and over it. And she's like, just listen to me.
yeah, they're like, this is a fresh perspective. And so ultimately, it's kind of around the same time that marriage became legal for everyone in the state of New York. And so they were interested in talking about that because they have been an inclusive company from the beginning.
Yeah.
And it's actually founded by an interracial couple. And for them, it was a no-brainer. Like the
Yeah.
original founder of the Knot, she had an advertiser who said, if you run this same-sex wedding in your magazine, we're going to pull out our advertising dollars.
Oh, wow.
He said, well, pull out your dollars. And so for me, when they came forward and said, we did the first ever study on same-sex couples, we want to present that information, but we don't feel we should present it. We're straight white people. We want you as a gay person to do that. That kind of dipped my toe in the pond of advocacy and inclusion and discussing all of the holes in this industry that
Yeah.
are missing for same-sex couples or couples with disabilities or couples who are um, sort of cisgendered or non-white or non-wealthy. And so it was really powerful. And from there, it led me to speak about this around the world for the last 5 years to
Wow.
thousands of people, which has been super, super powerful, emotional, transformative, and really incredible.
I honestly, look, I have cold chills. Look,
Oh my God. Oh,
because it's so exciting when people step into their power.
mm,
It's so exciting when you hear someone's story and they know what they're meant to do and they go and they execute it with grace and love and compassion and hold space for others. And that's what I see you doing, even though we don't know each other. It
oh, thank you.
it emanates, right?
Yeah. I
So,
mean, it's interesting because my whole life I hated that part of me. I was raised super religious, and being gay was not something that I was
yeah,
promoting, not something that I was allowed to celebrate. It was a part of me that I hated. It was a part of me that I loathed. It was a part of me I tried to change. And it was part of the reason at one point I tried to end my own life. Like
yeah,
it's a terrible burden that people today even have to go through. And so to then enter an industry that's supposed to be flamboyant and celebrating love, and we're
yeah.
literally like not even inclusive, and we weren't even spoken about, and everything's bride, 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 it was a
Right.
whole world where ultimately it kind of two worlds aligned, and it was really so powerful.
It's so funny you say that because I deep down, there's a part of me that always wanted to be married, but there's a part of me that knew I was never going to be that traditional bride.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm single, so I'm saying that I'm speaking as if I'm married or something and went through that, but I'm not. But you know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
if I were to choose an event planner, it would be someone who represents the misfits, who represents people who want to be seen in a different light and in not a traditional way, but still in a beautiful way.
Yeah.
And so I think that you do that.
Thank you. I mean, everyone should celebrate their love as authentically as possible. To
Yes.
me, there's no gay wedding, there's no black wedding, there's no Asian wedding, there's no straight wedding. It's a wedding, it's love. We all want it, we all seek it, and we should all express ourselves at our wedding. I don't know why people say if you wear a white dress, you're like, there's no study that says if you wear an ugly white dress on your wedding day, you're going to have a happy marriage. If you have pink flowers with crystals, you're going to have a happy marriage. If you have a band over a DJ, you're going to have a successful relationship. Like there's
Yeah.
no correlation between how you celebrate and the success of your relationship. So you should absolutely celebrate in the most authentic way to you and your partner, and stop trying to impress other people. Stop trying to make other people happy. If you love fried chicken, then have fried chicken at your wedding. You know what I mean? Like, who doesn't love fried chicken? I totally.
Honey, I'm from the South. You're talking about
Totally.
mason jars and suitcases like it's old. I'm like, bring it on.
It's still happening for you. Yeah.
I know.
We've moved on a little bit here, but all that to say is like, we're so stuck in this mentality of what a wedding should be.
Yes.
But who is that according to, and why? Why toss a bouquet and make all the single people feel bad? Like, that's so awkward.
Oh my God.
It's awkward.
Can I tell you that, well, first of all, I lived in Brooklyn for the past 4 years. So I just moved back to Georgia, but you know, there hasn't been that many weddings, but the last Georgia wedding I went to was very mason jar. And that's fine. I drink water out of a mason jar, whatever, but I hear you. Oh God, I lost my train of thought. What was the last thing you just said?
The bouquet. Did you do the bouquet toss?
Oh, bouquet. So, because I'm just so excited. There's so much to talk about, so much love. But every wedding I've ever been to, I've been a bridesmaid and I've caught the bouquet.
Yeah.
And
so
after
it's literally
a while,
lining up for you.
well, I don't know, because right, that's just a traditional thing. Like, I don't know if that's a thing. And after a while, you start to be like, I'm the bridesmaid that's catching the bouquet
Every single time.
And it's this story loop, especially as women, I think we play in our head, especially single women in our 30s and late 30s. You know, the concept of love sometimes can be so far away.
Yeah.
You know, from what we feel we can attain. And so it's a lack mindset versus an abundant mindset when you're still single, and not in a bad way, but because like, I'm a self-actualized human being. I want to wait till I have that right person. You know, I'm not going to just jump into anything. And I imagine the special couples that you've married are super unique and not sort of the always traditional, we got married at 21, which, hey, if that works for you, that's fine.
Yeah.
But I imagine they're on a different mindset, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, our slogan is event planning and design for those who dare to be different. And I say dare because it's a choice and it's a risk. And we all want to be liked and we all want to be loved. And for some reason, weddings look a certain way. You're supposed to act a certain way. You're supposed to wear certain clothes. It is a show. It is a performance.
Yeah. Oh,
and
yeah.
for me, I want to just throw that to the trash. And I just want to say, if there's food and there's drink and there's music, everything is flexible, right? A wedding is a celebration of love that two people somehow in this crazy wide world found the person that they each want to spend their life with, to make the other better, to make themselves better, to make the world better. Like, it's a celebration. It is not a funeral. It is not a cookie cutter event. It should be filled with joy, and joy comes from you and from within when it's what you really love. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. And when you were talking about wardrobe, that's why I'll tell you what kind of wedding dress I want if I ever did get married. But this is my mom's.
Oh my God, I wish I was with you. I would put it on. It's beautiful.
Let me tell you, this is from 1976.
Oh, wow. Very of the time.
And I mean, it's so simple. I used to wear it all the time in high school. Honestly, it's a little too tight for me. I can barely get it zipped up, so I didn't wear it today because I don't want to rip it. But it's just this total hippie. My mom got married at Justice. My parents are not together anymore, but it's a good thing. My mom's remarried to her high school sweetheart. And they found each other after 30 years and got remarried. She obviously wore a different dress. Well, maybe not obviously, but she did wear a different dress. But this dress to me has just symbolized such an era and a time period, you know, of tradition, which I do like tradition. But there's this hippie chic like feel.
Oh, I love it. And a full sleeve is so reminiscent of that time, to literally have that much coverage. You know what I mean? And to be sort of fully enclosed in that dress. It's beautiful.
Look at the old tag, you guys.
Oh, wow. I love it.
So I
and
just
it's held up over all these years. It's held up, you know?
I have taken this dress everywhere. I mean, I was saying right at the intro, I would use it as the Last Dance with Mary Jane video. Who was the woman that was in that? Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. I can't think right now. She's so famous. I can't think. But she was the actress in the Tom Petty video. And so I would recreate it with this dress because it looks like the dress in the video. But if I had a choice, I want it's a black dress, Balenciaga 2006.
I
And
think you have to change your mindset if I have a choice to when I have a choice. When
oh,
I decide.
thank you for catching me.
Yeah. And I do think, listen, you should wear what makes you feel most fabulous. So if that's white for you, then wear white. But if that's a suit instead of a dress, if that's a skirt, if that like wear what makes you feel most alive. And to me, that's what's most important. I think we just have to get out of this mindset that a white dress, a black tie party, fancy caviar,
Yes.
salmon, or, like chicken and steak, like why? Like what is that? You know what I mean? Like,
Totally.
do what makes you happy, do what brings you joy. You're celebrating your love and it should feel like that.
Yes. So with that, what has been your favorite wedding so far? Can you even say? And can we talk about food?
I think it's so hard to say favorite because I don't design for me. These are not my weddings. They have my taste, my touch, my style. But favorite is really anyone who fully infuses their self. So one of my favorite dresses is a bride named Allie. She wore a navy blue dress with white stars that I, to this day, it's just my favorite. It's so beautiful. It's elegant. She walked in the room and we all were like,
oh, I love that take your breath away moment.
It did, for sure. I had another client, Risa, who's an artist and she loves color and geometry. And her last name is Puno, which means tree in Tagalog. And so we designed these upside down trees growing from the ceiling to honor her family heritage. And then it was just like, every one of them have favorite moments for me when couples really pour themselves into it and are open to something beyond white, gold, and pink, or silver and gold and things I don't like.
Totally. So do you ever find, because you do work with so many incredible people, that your weddings, people know when they come to you, like they're more outside the box? That's obviously the way they come to you. But partnership wise, do you find that both people work together more with you as opposed to that old school mindset of like, oh, the women always plan the wedding, or only one person is really interested in planning it? Like, does it become more of a collaborative with couples when they're working with you?
I think honestly, it varies. My dream is to have collaboration all the way through because it's a party for two people, not one person. And but naturally in a relationship, sometimes there's a leader, sometimes there's a follower. Sometimes someone's more assertive, someone's more passive. Typically, not always. Sometimes you have two bossy people or two passive people. But I definitely require for our first date, we don't have meetings at Jove Meyer events. We have dates. We go on dates. I date my clients. For our first date, I require that they both are there. And then I love to have everyone on emails as we go. But as you plan, you find that different people have different priorities, and someone might really love music or food, or someone's like, I don't really like flowers, aren't my thing, but I'm happy to contribute, but that's what you really love. So I think it still leans pretty favorably in a straight wedding that she is leading the way. But in same-sex relationships, I find it to be pretty even, pretty much more 50-50.
Yeah, just curious because I'm not in the business, but I was an assistant wedding planner to Jeffrey Bloom's. He had a show called Whose Wedding Is It Anyway on TLC. He was one of the many wedding and event planners that came on the show many years ago. I'm aging myself now. But, that was really exciting doing weddings with him and being his assistant. And he was all about floral. So I learned how to cut flowers properly to make sure that every day the stems were cut at an angle so they would get the water in better. And I'm not explaining it super sexy, but you know what I mean? Like, it was really cool to work with a planner that also had that floral background. And I remember thinking like that's what I was going to go into, but I got so distracted by all the other things I wanted to do in life. I didn't, focus. And now here I am back acting and hosting and doing the things I had originally in my life set out to do. But man, do I love a good wedding. There is nothing better than that feeling of watching two people come together and the cold chills and the moments and the pauses in between the vows and the
Yeah.
tears and the joy. And we just need so much love right now in this
Yeah.
country, in this world. And I want to talk to you about like what is going on with Jove events? What is
Yeah.
going on with Jove Meyer events right now? Because it's
I
been a
mean,
lot.
it's not sort of just me. The whole industry has
Yeah.
suffered a tremendous loss in the last year because it's been unsafe to gather. And
Yeah.
what we do is gather. What we do is throw celebrations, and celebrations have all either shrunken, gone online, or been postponed or been canceled. And of course, health and safety come first. There's not a
Yeah.
world where I'm going to put myself, my clients, their friends or family, or my
Right.
friends and family at risk so that we can party. You know, there's no
Thank
world
God.
that feels responsible. But it's basically been for me, I haven't had a wedding in a year, like
Yeah.
a physical in-person wedding. We've done a little Zoom weddings here and there. It's not the
Wow.
same. Of course, if that's what somebody wants to do, they should absolutely do it.
Yeah.
But our industry it's decimated. There's no better way to say it. People literally make a living planning events, and when
Yeah.
events stop, the cash stops, the payments stop, like it all stops. We are a resilient industry and we are coming back, and I think it's sort of like tulips that have had a year in this, you know, a full winter under the snow, and they're like
Yeah.
ready to come out and bloom.
Oh,
That's what we're all so eager for, and we're sort of just waiting, and we're sort of like ready to go, and we will get back. But people need to know that we are humans. Like, yes, there's a brand and there's a business and there's a product, but all those things are run by people who have bills and who have responsibilities and
yeah.
who also have lives to manage and take care of. And it's been difficult, and some of my friends have closed their doors and they're no longer in this field,
Ugh.
and others put a pause, and others, you know, everyone is so different. But I know that we will come back, and we will come back swinging and excited and ready to go. And it's starting, you know, even in New York, the regulations are now opening, and we originally could only have 10 people. Now it's 50
Yeah.
people, and it's 150 people, and today it's 200 people. And with
Wow.
the
Yeah.
vaccination, Biden saying by May everyone can be vaccinated, kind of gives hope for summer weddings. And
I
that
have
to me
chills
is,
again.
you know, we're excited. All my fingers and toes are crossed that people are responsible, because even if we want to do it, it's up to all of us in our community effort to be safe and continue to be safe. Because if we all just go wild, we're going to regress and we're not going to move forward, you know? Hey, Michael, Blake,
I know
Black Gay
there's
Weddings is on here.
there's so many awesome people here. Some people are like, "Oh my God, it's been a year." Hugs from Warsaw. There was a question earlier, and if anyone is just joining, this is Quarantine But Cute. I'm your host, Lauren Aparicio. We are interviewing the fabulous Jove Meyer, and I'm so happy to have you here. If you have any questions for him about love, about weddings, please put them in the comments. We will answer all of them to the best of our ability. It's awesome getting to know you, and I want to talk about your podcast,
Sure.
Weddings Ish with Jove, and you're
Yeah.
still doing that, right?
So there's been a little bit of a pause. I think it was one of the first in our industry many, many years ago. I started that podcast when podcasts sort of weren't a thing.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to kind of, again, put out another voice that wasn't being heard, or that wasn't sort of the typical traditional voice. And it's essentially every episode was a tip that any couple could use in terms of planning their wedding, as well
Ooh,
as a candid conversation with someone I admire in the industry. And at the
nice.
time, I was like really obsessed with The Bachelor and The Real Housewives. I'm still obsessed, but for some reason, I felt like those recaps were needed to go in the episodes,
Nene for life. Nene leaks for life.
which in hindsight, like I definitely did not need to be doing Real Housewives recaps on my wedding podcast. But you live and you learn. You live and you learn.
I love it. Someone was asking, well, I guess this isn't happening because you haven't had an in-person event, but Valley View Farm Wedding asked, how are you checking vaccinations for guests, or are you leaving that to the couple? Will that be something that you include in the weddings as things start to open up?
Yeah, safety's top of mind moving forward for sure. I think it's here to stay at least for 1 or 2 years. COVID does not just disappear because you're vaccinated. There's a lot of studies that
Yeah.
even if you're vaccinated, you're protected. You can still be a carrier who can share COVID freely.
Right.
You're just not
Right.
affected by it personally. And so in the state of New York, our guidelines just came out recently, and we have to see a negative COVID test result 72 hours prior
Right.
before the guest can enter the space. To me, 72 hours feels very scary. That's 3 days before the wedding.
Yeah, because you don't know where they're going to go.
I don't know what you've done for 3 days. And if you've come to New York City for a wedding, you probably haven't stayed alone in your hotel room. You know what I mean? You probably have touched everything and everyone in your mouth and your face and the subway and strangers at a bar and all the things you do in New York City that I don't really
Yeah.
know about. But I think I would prefer my clients have on-site testing the day of. But the
Yeah.
legal mandate is 72 hours, and we must see those results. We must also take temperatures in New York. So every guest, every vendor, before they can enter, we have to have a negative test, and we check their temperature. If their temperature is above 100.4, they are asked to leave right away. They may not enter.
I
So
mean, if someone is coming to your wedding with 100.4, they probably know that they have 100.4 fever by
I
then.
mean, you'd be surprised. Like on a hot summer day, you're like, I don't know, it's just hot out. It's New York. I was walking. I'm in a suit. I'm in a gown. I'm in a dress. Like
Maybe.
people, I run hot all the time. Like I'm just a
Yeah, me too.
warm body. Like I'm a furnace basically. So I always think I have a fever or a disease. That's a whole other conversation.
Oh my God, me too. I'm a hypochondriac. We need to have a separate whole podcast moment for that. When you come on Behind the Curtain on Clubhouse, my other show on Fridays at 9, we
Yeah.
need to talk about that.
I'm happy to because I've had a self-diagnosed disease, terminal, typically every year for the last 6 years. None of them are real. I'm super healthy, but it's not great.
So just to wrap this point up, I do want to ask this question again from Valley View Farm Wedding. Who will pay for the rapid test? Like, will that be a fee with the couples as part of the wedding package?
It's a really great question. There is no national standard. There's no national mandate. It is state by state. It is not federal. And then I think it's even going to be county by county. So if you go to Texas after the news of them just saying, fuck you, COVID.
I can't believe it.
I can't either. It's a whole other conversation.
Well, I can, actually.
Same. But in Texas, you don't have to do anything. You can do whatever you want. No mask, no test, no COVID. They don't believe in COVID, basically. So you can do whatever you want. But in New York, the payment question is a big one. If you're a New York resident without insurance, you can get a COVID test for free. So that should be something that is not a cost prohibitive issue. If the venue is going to require it for their own liability, then they likely will have to charge the client or increase the fee because you either increase your cost of doing business or you charge the client to do it. It's one or the other. And I think it's really going to be case by case. The wedding we were supposed to have last week, we were planning to test all the guests the day of, and it's expensive. On site, PCR testing with a nurse, with the machines. It's not cheap. It adds up very quickly. And I can say for the 30 people we were doing, it was about $10,000.
So no wonder people are waiting.
Correct.
And I think it's okay. Look, hey, I mean, this is my whole thing. If, I am not in a relationship right now. I've been in a relationship in a while, so I'm not trying to give love advice. But if you really love someone, I feel like you can wait a little bit extra.
Yes.
But that must be hard when you're in a couple and you just want to share your love and maybe the theatrics don't matter. Maybe they want to do a Zoom wedding with Jove Meyer events. And let's talk about how you execute these Zoom weddings, because I think it's fascinating.
Yeah, there was a whole wave of Zoom couples and Zoom weddings, and they are super fun, and you make them as fun as you want to be. So for the one that we did, we sent all the guests boxes with cake, champagne, celebratory things. We asked.
I saw that.
Yeah, like it was just like, if you're gonna do it digital, go big or go home. Like you were gonna have a 200-person wedding. That was a big number. Now we're gonna scale down, but we can still spend money on fun things, or we can make things, we can personalize things. You can have performers. I mean, you can do so much now through the internet because of COVID. Like the way we connect has changed. And I would say improved in some ways for the better. Like no one used to want to FaceTime or have a Zoom meeting. Everyone was like, nope, in person or bust. But now we do everything online, and you can enhance that by sending gifts, setting a dress code, personalizing it. We had a videographer that was zooming in on the couple, so it wasn't just a computer
Oh,
screen, so that you could see the backdrop, you could see the flowers. We
and the
made sure
outfits.
you could see the beautiful outfits. You know, there are ways to do it. We did a digital cocktail hour where everyone could give their speech, and we sent the food that the couple was eating, so everyone was eating together. Like, you know,
Oh,
there are little ways you can absolutely do it if you want to. If you don't
I
want
just
to
want.
wait,
Can I pay for a ticket just to be like a voyeur wedding guest?
totally a wedding crasher.
Oh my God, we could make so much money doing that.
I have had only one wedding crasher in my career, and it was the most thoughtful wedding crasher.
Oh my
They
God,
wrote a
tell me.
card, they showed up for the ceremony, and it's hard for me to know. I don't know people's friends, you know what I mean? Like,
Right, of
I
course.
only know if someone's acting up or out of character or inappropriately. But otherwise, I don't know who your friends are. I assume if they show up and they look like everyone else and they're dressed appropriately, they're here for your wedding.
Oh my God.
So this couple, this like, I thought they were like a chic lesbian couple, showed up, and they literally went to the ceremony. We're at cocktail hour, and we're about to do the first dance, and the bride comes over to me and she goes, "Do you know who they are?" And I was like, "Me? No, I don't know anybody here. Like, I know you." And she was like, "I don't know who they are either." And I was like, "Does your husband?" And he was like, "I don't know who they are either."
Oh my God.
So I literally went over to them and I was like, "Hi, you know, what are your names? I just want to find your seat on the seating chart." And they were like, "Oh, yeah, we're so and so." And I was like, "Cool. Which part of the couple do you know?" "Oh, yeah,
Oh,
we know both of them." "How did you meet?" I mean, they were committed to crashing, and they even had a card. They had a card with the couple's name, a wedding card, and cash inside.
that's dope, actually. I gotta give big ups.
And so I was like, I was like, "I think you're crashing this wedding." And they were like, "No, no, 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 no. We know
Never.
Ashley and Thomas." Like, they were like, and then I said, "I just have to ask you to leave." But they fought so hard to stay in like the sweetest possible way. But in the end, they were full on crashers, and they did give the
Wow.
couple, I think it was $100 cash.
I've
And in
been
the
looking
card, it
for a new
said, "Thanks for
career.
letting us crash your wedding. We had the
Oh
best
my
time."
God.
Yeah.
I've been looking for a new career, Jove. So if you need a fabulous conversationalist, voyeur, Zoom wedding crasher, $200 all in.
You're my girl.
I'm your girl, boo. People are loving this. Someone get the guest table. Welcome to the show. They said virtual wedding crash. We're here with Jove Meyer, event planner, wedding planner, designer. He does all the things. And I'm just so happy to have you here. This is lifting my spirits because I think with COVID, we have not talked about love enough.
Yeah, I agree. And
Just
love is it, you know, love is the most important thing. Love with friends, love romantically, love platonically. And we've been through a lot of trauma politically. And so I think love is it's definitely so important.
if you have any questions, someone said such a fan. Jove,
Oh, thank you.
you have a
That's sweet.
massive fan base. Like there's so many comments. You're so sweet. What
Oh,
like I know you do a lot and I know like I want people to understand based off of our pre-interview, like just because you haven't had an in-person wedding, the back office and the work that you still have to put in. Can you explain a little bit about that to our audience? Because I think this just shows your commitment on not only keeping your company above water, but you'll be thriving. You'll
yeah.
be thriving when this goes forward, and that just shows not only how passionate you are, but how dedicated you are to love and to making the world a more beautiful place. Let's talk about the work that comes when you have to postpone.
Yeah. I think a lot of people think wedding planning is like cake tasting and playing with flowers, and it's super fun, and that's kind of what it is. And I would say if you're the client, that's what it should be. You should be having the food tasting,
Yes,
the cake tasting, the wardrobe fitting.
the drink
You know,
tasting.
absolutely. And so for the client, it should absolutely be that. But that's not the life of the professional that's doing that. It's
Yeah.
literally hours and hours and hours of emails and spreadsheets and emails and spreadsheets and relationship building and phone calls and logistics and insurance. So much insurance
Oh, yeah, on the
from every
venue and every
vendor, from the venue, from the client, to protect everyone from everyone. Is
it's a
everyone's litigious.
production.
Everyone wants protection. So really the job, it's like, remember when there were all those things going around the internet and it's like what my friends think I do and then what I actually do?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
It's sort of like, I think for wedding planner, people think it's like me trying on a dress with a bottle of champagne and a cake, which I've done and it's fabulous. But the reality is like me at a desk with 85 emails, 7 spreadsheets, a map calculating distance, and figuring out all the logistics.
Oh,
So
wow.
I love what I do, but it is so much back end work
Mm-hmm.
that people just don't realize. And so when you're one vendor, you're focused on one thing, which is your
Right.
job. But when you're the planner, first of all, you're sourcing every vendor, could be 10, 20, 30 companies, and then you're negotiating the contract, signing them on, managing the payment, and then keeping them on track to make sure that they're ready and prepared with the information they need to execute the event. So that
No
is
big
so much
deal.
time and energy. Yeah, like now I say it so easily because it's no big deal. But then when COVID came and we had to postpone and reschedule, now weddings are already emotional, but now like the emotional state is so high
Yeah.
because it's no one's fault. It's not my fault. It's not your fault. Like there's a global pandemic. We cannot have your wedding. And now we're trying to move your entire wedding, but I need to see if everyone's available on the same exact date. And odds are they're not. And then if someone's changing a date, is there a fee? Is there an increase in price? Does the scope change? Everyone feels goes into protective mode and not sort of supportive mode. And so it's
Yeah.
managing everyone's feelings. You're a feeling manager. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
All while remaining neutral. Like I can't explode. I can't get upset. I can't be like, bitch, get it together. Like I have to be like, I'm so sorry for your frustration. Do you want to talk through that?
It's like there's the orchestra and you're the conductor.
I think that's the right way to think about it, 100%. And the orchestra can sometimes be off key. The orchestra, everyone wants to be a soloist when you're not meant to be a soloist at this time.
I feel so seen.
Yeah. I mean, it's really so fascinating. And you see a lot of true colors of people through the pandemic. And what's amazing is most of the people we work with are incredible human beings first, talented creatives second.
Yeah.
And ultimately, their heart sees the struggle of this couple and they'll do whatever they can. I mean, we're all in the business of love. And so you don't get in this industry if you're not into love, if you're not into celebrating love and relationships and parties. Like, it's not for the faint of heart, for sure. And
Yeah.
especially not now.
Are you living in your real joy and your real happiness?
I'm living in it. It's sort of though like being on a hamster wheel at the moment with all of the postponements. I would say that we were set up in 2019. What year is it now?
I don't even know. 2021.
2021 now. So 2020 for us, for my company, after 10 years of work, like ruthless pavement pounding work, was supposed to be the best year of my career. In terms of I finally reached a point where I wasn't doing quantity, I was doing quality. Where I finally reached a point where I didn't have to say yes to every single inquiry, where I could literally, they're calling me thinking they're interviewing me, but I'm thinking, are we the right vibe? Are we the right fit? Are we going to really be good collaborators? And 2020 was that year. I had it lined up. It was going to be the best year ever for the business. And then obviously it fell off of a cliff. So I'm in my joy because I'm doing what I'm doing and I work for myself. But ultimately, finding your own joy takes effort. It takes
Yes.
work to smile when you don't want to. It takes work to be positive when you could be negative. The
Yeah.
easiest thing in the world is to be negative, to be a Debbie Downer, to emotionally eat, to hate on others, to criticize others. Like it is literally the easiest route is to be negative. But I do think that we absolutely need to put in the work to remain positive and optimistic.
I think that's what I love about you. And I love someone said you need a Dutchie. Someone wants to help do flowers with you
Oh, I
immediately.
would love that. I read something else, so I'm glad you read it out loud because I was like, what are they saying? Like,
Well, I thought when the person said you need a Dutchie, I used to have in Brooklyn. I just moved back to Georgia from Brooklyn. I mean, I'm not mad at where I am. It's
it's
beautiful,
beautiful.
but I do miss Brooklyn. And I had a Dutchie, which was a Linus bike called the Dutchie.
I
And
don't know
so,
what a duchy is. What's
well,
a
I think a
duchy?
Dutch person is what she means, or he,
Oh, got it,
or
got it, got it.
they. I
Okay,
want to be politically correct here, and be all inclusive in my show. And
I'll take a duchy.
whoa, did you hear how aggressive that bird
It
was?
was beautiful.
Hey, boo,
They want some attention in the orchestra.
would you like a drink? Sorry for the interruption. Um, wow. Okay. So
Oh,
this
I
is a
see
live
Handy
show.
Boy LLC. Hope to be part of your. Please send me an email. We're always looking for new creative collaborators. We would love to work with you if you're interested. We're always on the hunt for new partnerships. The best place to start is to sign our ally pledge. That's definitely where we will start. So if you go to our website, click on ally pledge, read it, review it, make that promise and commitment, sign it, then please reach out. We'd love to connect and see what we can do together.
I love that.
Dutch,
That's so awesome.
a
Yeah.
duchy is a Dutch
They,
person.
they,
Amsterdam.
they, they meant to say
Yeah,
Dutch person,
got
obviously. We're gonna work on your typing skills and then you can apply. No, I'm just kidding. I'm totally joking. That's amazing. And like if you like I said, I really think I have a new career here as a professional virtual wedding crasher or host.
You know, it's funny because there was someone I had on my podcast many years ago, and she was a bridesmaid for hire.
What?
And she literally, people paid her to be their bridesmaid. She would give speeches, go to the bridesmaids party, like sleep over. You would be phenomenal at that. And at
Okay.
first, I was literally like, oh, I feel so bad for these people. They don't have a friend. And then the way she explained it was everyone has an opinion and it's for their own benefit. Always. People are inherently selfish. But when you hire someone who's a wedding professional to be your best friend, they have your best interest in mind.
Yes.
And it's wild. And I could see you doing that and like livening up the dance floor, making sure everyone has a good time. Hey, Grandpa, can I get you a drink?
Yes, girl, you need a drink. No, I would honestly, we'll talk on another day, another time, because I have never ever heard anything negative about me being a bridesmaid. I've only ever heard positive, and everyone has literally said to me, like, you're the best bridesmaid. You calmed me down before I went down the aisle.
Yeah.
Because my girlfriends that I was their bridesmaid, they were so obviously super nervous.
Yeah.
And there's something about chaos. I think it's the actor in me. There's something about chaos when a lot of things are going on, even including COVID. That's when I create my best self, and that's when I'm like kind of like a nurse, right? I'm
Yeah.
like, I got you.
You go into care mode.
Yes.
And
And I
that's
think that,
rare. I think a lot of people, I mean, I've seen it time and time again where even some of my clients are like, I love my best friend, but can you keep me away from them at the wedding? Or can you tell them they can't hang out with me until 10 minutes before? Because people don't realize
yeah.
how selfish they are. And it's not from a bad place, but we had one client where literally the maid of honor was like, Jove, get me a water. Jove, am I wet? Jove, fix this. Jove, do. And I was like, I'm not here for you. Like, this is not about you. You're here to uplift and support your best friend, but you can't seem to figure that out. So I'm going to give you a task to go away and hopefully get lost and then maybe show up just before the ceremony. Like, the
Gosh.
personalities that you deal with and you work with are fascinating. Like, part of the job is also, it's like psychology, it's mentoring, it's listening, it's observing human nature, which is also wild, and sort of how you control people. And when I say
Yeah.
control, it's like, I need you now, you know, there's a schedule and I need you to go from cocktail hour to sit at your table.
Mm-hmm.
But the weather's beautiful, the alcohol's flowing, who am I don't want to go sit inside. So like, it's the
Right.
psychology of how you get people to do what you want for the sake of your client.
It's like read the room, bitch. but
Well,
not
but
not everybody
alcohol
can.
changes everything. You know, three
Yep.
drinks in for some people, or one drink in, like you can't read the room. You're unaware of yourself, and it's also really funny. Like I'm a pretty flamboyant gay man, and so when I have to ask these like very macho, heteronormative, straight dudes to do something, it's always so funny when they're like, "Huh? Who are you?" You know, like that
Ew.
kind of like bro-y vibe back to me. And so I'll just give them full sass gay, touch their lower back. And I'm like, girl, you know, like give them what they want. And they think
Yeah.
they're in control, but you're in control. It's like such a fascinating
Ooh.
game.
Okay, well, when this is back up and running, I will work for you for free for one wedding.
Oh, wow.
You just tell me what you want and I will make it happen, just because I want to see your world, because I worked in production my whole life. That's what we do. Exactly what you said. You're reading the room. You're dealing with different psychological profiles. You're
Yeah.
dealing with different energies. I've been
Yeah.
an AD, an actor, a cast assistant, a chef on set to celebrities. Like I've done literally everything. And you, if you can't understand the temperature of the room,
Yeah.
it will not work.
It doesn't work. No, we're very particular with who we hire because it's absolutely important that you understand how to read the temperature of the room, but
Yeah.
also how you work with other people. We are in hospitality. And I do find that our industry, I want to write an article, How Hipsters Killed Hospitality, because I do believe in many ways it's like they've upgraded it, farm to table, local ingredients, beautiful
Right.
things that are from a farm nearby you. That's the pro side of it.
Mm-hmm.
But the con side of it is this hospitality has kind of like fallen to the wayside. Like you
I
can go to
agree.
a restaurant in Brooklyn and like pre-COVID and like be ignored by the waiter for 30 minutes and that's okay. And I'm like, no, 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 no. I need a check-in, I need a water, I need a questions, I need the specials. Like there are steps to service that are
Yeah.
there for a reason. You can put your own spin on it, you can put your own take on it, but ignoring me is not hospitality. It's not. But somehow
Yeah.
those restaurants are the coolest and the most packed. And so it's literally like wedding planning and wedding industry. We are in the hospitality industry. And really the answer to everything is, how can I help you? How can I make this easier for you? How can I make this better for you?
Yeah.
Not, you're a drunk asshole, you're annoying me, get away from me, which is maybe how you feel, but you can never project that.
No, absolutely. Of course, the UPS man is coming. I wonder if he's single. He's dropping off a package right now.
Oh my God, that's very Legally Blonde, that moment. I really hope you can like bend and snap.
Hold on. Let me say hi to him. Hold on.
Yeah, can you flip your camera?
Yeah, hold on.
Oh my God, you are totally getting into beast mode. Like
Here we
your
go.
face is changing. You puckered your lips. I'm dying. This is not happening.
Let's see. He's cute. Let's see.
I'm so here for this. I love a man in a uniform, I have to say.
Hey there. I'm good. You're on live television. Is that okay?
Sweet.
You want to say hi?
Well, hello.
Thank you so much for my package.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. You have a great day.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You didn't really dig. I had a feeling. I know. Okay, we'll move on.
Okay. That's never happened. That was fun.
Oh my God, I love a meet cute. I love a meet cute. I want a meet cute for you.
Oh my God. Wait, what's a meet cute? Am I dumb?
It's a scenario like exactly like what you just had, that every romantic person, every romantic movie is based on, is like you bump into someone in the subway, you look at them and you're automatically like, or like the package delivery and your eyes meet when you pick up that's a meet cute. And then you can hope that meet cute leads to, you know.
I mean, I was being extra. That's not how I would ever approach a man.
I don't know that I believe that.
You think that? I'm like, hi.
No, you were not like that.
Okay. You never know. Anyway, back to you. So we have a few minutes left, and I want to talk about wedding tips for couples.
Sure.
Especially,
I'm going to try to go somewhere with better lighting, so excuse me as I move, but I'm in
You're fine.
Dark.
It's actually the most action in any one of my shows. This is so fun.
Oh, I think that's maybe better. Ooh, maybe not. I don't really
Hi,
know.
Kat. Someone says hi.
Let me try this. I don't know if this is good.
Hey, girl. Hey.
I don't know if this is better or worse.
Where are you?
I'm upstate. I'm opening a motel, and I'm in the room, but the lighting is odd. But I think
I saw that. The designs are beautiful.
I don't really know where to go.
Are you sitting on a toilet, Joe? What's happening?
No, I wish I had a toilet. I'm just gonna squat because we only have, it'll kick us off in 6 minutes. So you're getting a squat for 6 minutes.
If you squat for 6 minutes, I'm going to be hella impressed. Okay.
We got it. We're doing it.
That sweater's great, by the way.
Thank you. It's a
I love the
vintage
collar.
female sweater that I am obsessed with.
What is it? Did you say it's a female sweater?
It's a lady sweater. Like I bought it in the ladies department.
It is a female sweater.
She is feminine.
This is a vintage dress that I got from being in a photo shoot when I was like 23.
I love it. My legs are burning.
Sorry. Okay. So tips with Jove Meyer, wedding planner extraordinaire. Jove Meyer Events, boutique wedding planning and design firm. Fabulous human being is here on Quarantine But Cute. Let's talk about tips to stay sane as you're planning a wedding as a couple and for planners.
Yeah, for everyone. We all need to stay sane, I think, for sure. I think the first tip is in terms of planning your wedding, you have to make your guest list. It's number one. How many human beings are important in your life? And I think the pressure is to invite everyone you know, your parents, work colleagues, your friends from college that you haven't talked to. You know, you kind of go through this like guilty phase of like, I have to invite everyone. But the more people, the more money. So you have to be really clear on that. So your guest list is number one.
So two people.
There you go. Perfect. It's going to be really affordable for you. And then after your guest list, the number two is sort of talking about a season. Like, do you want to get married when it's warm, when it's cold? Do you like fall? Do you like summer? And then number three, you can start to reach out to a planner or venues because now you know how many people and what temperature you want. I also think it's very important to talk about money. Nobody wants to talk about money. Nobody.
I know. It's such a taboo.
But you have to do it. Weddings can add up very quickly. So if you're not going to come forward with your guest count and your budget, you're kind of going in circles, right? If you're going to buy a house, you know, this is my money for the house. These are my parameters. Then you start looking. You don't start looking and realize every home is over your budget. You know what I mean? Like you go on Zillow, you put in your range and you do your homework. And so for weddings, it's the same. And I don't want to shame anyone for having a low, medium, high budget. You have what you have.
Right.
And you can make magic with whatever you have. You just have to be flexible or creative. And that's the key, right? Like, I get it. You have like champagne taste and a beer budget is a real thing. It's a real thing.
Only temporary. Only temporary.
Correct. And we all suffer from that. But at the end of the day, you found the person you love and want to spend your life with. And now you're planning a party with that person and the other people that matter most in your world. You know, those are the priorities.
Yeah, absolutely. What has been like the smallest wedding that you've ever done, but most memorable?
We did a 2-person wedding recently for Zoom. This couple was going to have a 200-person wedding. Then they were going to postpone it. And everything that happened with they're a female couple, lesbian couple. And after Ruth Bader Ginsburg died and Trump was in office and we all feared as gay people, our right to marry may be up in the air. And so they wanted to marry as quickly as they could.
Absolutely.
Before we might lose that right. And it was and one of them's a doctor that was on the front line. So it was literally like so beautiful and so passionate. And for me, I connected because I could see myself in their story. You know, like for a lot of straight brides or straight people in general, you've never had your rights battled over in the Supreme Court. The world has always been open to you. You can love your partner affectionately in public. You can get married. You can share taxes. You can buy things together. If someone gets sick in a hospital, you can visit them. These are all things we are only newly getting. And there was a moment where we thought they could be threatened. And so this couple is like, nope, we're doing it while we can. And we're going to honor Ruth Bader Ginsburg, who's been a pioneer for women and women's rights and equal rights.
Forever.
forever, my favorite dissenter of them all, and my biggest inspiration. She was actually an officiant in one of my weddings, and it was like so amazing.
You know what? I did see that photo. I wasn't sure if that was at your wedding or an event. Wow.
Yeah. She married two gentlemen. One of them was a clerk for her. And, you know, when people get married, they say, like, I now, by the power vested in me in the state of New York, or power vested in me by the internet church that I bought my thing from, but she was like, the power vested in me by the United States of America. It was like so overwhelmingly powerful and palpable for her to marry these two men, and really, it was a moment I'll never forget.
Everything she worked for her whole life too.
Yeah, 100%.
As an ally and just as a good human being.
Yeah,
I cried real hard the day that she died.
Yeah.
Wow. Jove, I am in awe of you. I love your resilience. I love your spirit. I love your joy. I want to work with you in some way. I'm sure everybody that watched this wants to.
Oh, you're so kind. We'll figure it out.
It's true. I mean, I only want people who are either better than me in a good way or level. Oh, someone called me. It was Julie Pacino. She was on the show last week. Sorry, Julie. I've literally sent you to voicemail. I was just saying, when I'm in a room, I want somebody, and you've heard it before, I want someone smarter than me. I want someone that can level me up. I want to have people in my life that are high vibrational and that are working on themselves. I want business relationships like that. Yeah. And you exude that. You know, you don't have to stay stuck with people who hold you back. You don't have to stay in relationships that don't serve you. You don't have to have the wedding that your parents told you you have to have. Correct. You don't have to like a female when you like a man. Correct. There's so many incredible choices that are available to us now in a way that we don't have to explain ourselves so much anymore.
And every day is a new day, and you can decide tomorrow to be a new person, to make a new choice, to live a new life. That's the beauty of life, is you can change for the better at any moment.
I love you. Thank you so much.
So I'm sorry, I'm very awkward, but my thighs are like burning.
I know. If anyone just joined, he's in a full squat right now. Like, for sure, he's not on the toilet. He's in a real squat.
I'm not on the toilet.
Thank you so much for being here.
It was so much fun. Enjoy the rest of your day and that beautiful bird.
Yeah, this bird is like wanting to be my best friend in the tree right now. Let me just give you a quick flip so you can just sort of see.
So pretty.
Hey, man, nature. That is how you get back.
I agree. I
love it. Thank you so much for being
here. Be well.
Thank you.
All right. I'm going to go lay down now.
Okay, bye.
See ya.
Bye, y'all.
Ooh.